Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Now I will tell you about one of the most amazing cities, its history and some interesting facts. Los Angeles City, seat of Los Angeles County, Southern California, U.S. It is the second most populous city and metropolitan area, after New York City, in the United States. The city sprawls across a broad coastal plain situated between mountains and the Pacific Ocean. The much larger Los Angeles County, which encompasses the city, contains some 90 other incorporated cities, including Beverly Hills, Pasadena, and Long Beach. The county also encompasses two of the Channel Islands, Santa Catalina and San Clemente. Mount San Antonio, familiarly known as Mount Baldy or Old Baldy, 10,046 feet, 3,062 meters, high. More than 900 square miles, 2,330 square kilometers, of desert. And 75 miles, 120 kilometers, of seacoast. Since the city and the county are interwoven geographically, culturally, and economically, any consideration of Los Angeles must, to some degree, involve both entities. Population density around the metropolitan area varies greatly, as low as 1 person per square mile in mountainous areas and as high as 50,000 per square mile near downtown Los Angeles. Area City, 466 square miles, 1,207 square kilometers. County, 4,070 square miles, 10,540 square kilometers. Population 3,700,000. Los Angeles, the heart of Southern California, became a world-class city very recently. At the start of the 20th century it was considered merely a large village. This ascendancy is all the more remarkable considering that the city originally lacked some of the essential building blocks associated with cityhood, such as a natural harbor. Yet it overcame natural deficiencies and established itself as an important center of commerce, agriculture, tourism, and industry. For more than a century it has been indelibly associated with a benign climate, extensive leisure, and outdoor recreation, as well as the special aura of celebrity associated with Hollywood. The lifestyle of Los Angeles residents, who are called Angelenos, relies on the automobile, idealizes the single-family dwelling, and favors informality. With notable exceptions, the skyline is primarily horizontal rather than vertical. Los Angeles is a place of extraordinary ethnic and racial diversity, owing largely to immigration, and, like other world cities, it reflects a growing gap between rich and poor. Los Angeles County is a vast and varied geographic entity. It includes a group of inland valleys, a coastal plain separated by low mountains that are interspersed with steep passes, an arc of still higher mountains, and a long seacoast. Nearly half of the county is taken up by mountain chains, most of them running east-west, that have a dynamic history of earthquakes, firestorms, and mudslides. To the north and northeast are the massive and sprawling San Gabriel and San Bernardino Mountains. Stretching in front of them, and more or less in parallel lines from west to east, are the Santa Monica Mountains, Punt Hills, Repetto Hills, and San Jose Hills. These chains delineate the San Fernando, San Gabriel, and San Bernardino valleys. Farther south, running roughly between Orange and Riverside counties, are the Santa Ana Mountains. A magnificent natural feature of Los Angeles County is the coastline's distinctive beaches, which attract millions of sun worshippers annually. 3 waterways cross the county, the westward flowing Santa Clara River in the north, the Los Angeles River in the south, extending from the San Fernando Valley east and south to the Pacific Ocean, and the San Gabriel River, which rises from the San Gabriel Mountains in the north and flows south to the ocean. Huge floods have periodically inundated large parts of Los Angeles, and much human effort has gone into confining the waterways within concrete channels. In historic times, 1825, a deluge permanently shifted the direction of the Los Angeles River channel from its westward outflow into Santa Monica Bay to a south-flowing outlet emptying into San Pedro Bay. In the winter of 1861, a flood left the western part of the Los Angeles basin looking like a chain of lakes dotted with islands. The San Gabriel River also overflowed its banks and at one point merged with the Los Angeles River via a new channel called the Rio Hondo. The huge, sprawling, and tortuously shaped city of Los Angeles occupies a sizable portion of the southern part of the county. It too has a varied topography, climbing from sea level at the beach community of Venice to Mount Lucans, which rises above 5,100 feet, 1,550 meters. The city started in 1781 as a tiny village of 28 square miles, 73 square kilometers, but expanded greatly through a series of annexations when it first established an ironclad legal monopoly over the Los Angeles River watershed and then brought in a new water supply from the Owens River. Original city districts and annexed communities, Boyle Heights, Chinatown, Little Tokyo, Hollywood, San Pedro, Encino, and Watts, for example, still retain their community names and identities. On the other hand, the city never recognized neighborhoods as such, so these smaller units have only vague and informal boundaries. The Los Angeles climate is typically classified as semi-arid or Mediterranean. It results from a harmonious interplay of at least three natural conditions. The region's latitude is far enough south to dissipate the most severe North Pacific winter storms, a cooling layer of marine air moderates the summer sun, and the tall mountain ranges shield the region from potentially intense blasts of desert heat and cold. However, the warm climate and the bowl-like alignment of the ranges also provide the ideal conditions for another well-known Los Angeles phenomenon, photochemical smog, which has remained a part of the landscape since the 1940s. Tough anti-pollution laws enacted by state and local authorities have helped reduce the motor vehicle emissions contributing to smog formation, but air quality has continued to be a serious issue in Los Angeles, as well as in many other cities in the state. Of the region's two seasons, one is a dry and moderately warm spell lasting roughly from April to November. The second is a wet, moderately cool, but rarely frigid period extending from November to April. The city's mean temperature is about 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Temperatures can differ widely depending on location. The San Fernando Valley can be 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 5.5 degrees Celsius, warmer than Santa Monica in the summer and 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler in the winter. Fog, wind speed, and elevation also determine temperature. Beach areas tend to be 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, 5.5 to 8 degrees Celsius, cooler than downtown Los Angeles. The hottest month, August, averages 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Celsius, downtown and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius, at the ocean, only 15 miles, 24 kilometers, away. Areas near the mountains in the San Gabriel Valley can reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius, during the day and fall to the low 40s or 50s F, low to upper 20s C, at night. The coldest month overall is January, when icy roads can close the passes. Temperatures on the plains, however, rarely drop below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius. The many days of sun and comparative lack of rain add to a sense of physical well-being. Blasts of Santa Ana winds, usually hot and dry, streak through the mountain passes in the fall and winter. The city of Los Angeles is composed of a series of widely dispersed settlements loosely connected to downtown. It certainly does not conform to the popular Chicago school of urban theory of the 1920s and later, which held that a downtown was the main focus of community life, with its influence unfolding in a series of concentric circles out into the hinterlands. With the exception of some Eastern European Jews who arrived in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Southern California drew relatively few of the immigrant groups from Eastern and Southern Europe that populated the cities of the eastern United States. With the start of the Mexican Revolution in 1910 and the subsequent influx of Mexican agricultural workers in California, the non-white population began to increase. In the 1970s, Los Angeles attracted many other ethnic groups, and in the course of the subsequent decades it became one of the most diverse metropolises in the country, if not in the world. In the early years of the 21st century, California reached the status of a minority-majority state, one in which the combined population of minorities exceeds the majority population. Los Angeles County has the largest Hispanic. The term Latino is also used in Southern California, Asian, and Native American populations of any county in the United States. African Americans make up about 1/10 of the total population. In the early 21st century, their numbers declined somewhat as middle-class families abandoned the traditionally African American neighborhoods for newer suburbs as far away as San Bernardino County. Compton and Inglewood, which once had African American majorities, have become predominantly Latino. Southern California's regional economy is huge, diversified, and in a perpetual state of flux. Agriculture became important after the first citrus orchards were planted by Spanish missionaries in the 1700s. Manufacturing has also been important. The county features a wide range of financial and business services, high-technology manufacturing, and craft and fashion industries such as jewelry, clothing, toys, music, and, most famously, movies. After a long period of growth in the 20th century, the local economy experienced a recession in the 1990s. A strong recovery began mid-decade, and the economy showed considerable resilience, particularly in the high-tech area. By the end of the century, the fastest-growing sectors for employment were construction, transportation, public utilities, finance, insurance, real estate, and government services. The global economy has created bewildering cross-currents in the regional job market since the 1980s. As less profitable manufacturing plants have closed or have moved to other countries, higher-paying and more labor-intensive jobs have declined and lower-paying jobs have increased. Local employers rely increasingly on immigrant labor. Sweatshop conditions exist in some clothing manufacturing and other low-wage industries. The media business, with filmmaking as its core, pumps tens of billions of dollars into the Los Angeles economy yearly and directly employs several 100,000 people. Hollywood produces about half of all the films shot in the United States. That's all for today. Subscribe to the Magic Cities channel and stay with us. Good luck.